Hi everyone! Today I want to talk about something bigger than just awards recap. The 2026 BRIT Awards weren't just another music industry gala. They were a snapshot of where mainstream music is heading, creatively, commercially, and culturally. And as someone who's building solo career and playing in the band, while also working with other artists, I watch these moments very closely. Not because of the trophies, but because of the signals for today, but also for tomorrow. So let's break it down. Olivia Dean's sweep and what it actually means. The biggest headline, Olivia Dean dominated the night. She won Artist of the Year, Album of the Year, and Song of the Year. That's not just success, that's an industry alignment. What's interesting isn't just that she won, it's why she won. Her music blends jazz phrasing, neo-soul harmony, some alternative textures, and very direct songwriting. There's this beautiful 80s undertone in her sound. Honestly, when I heard her performance, I could hear shades of Chaka Khan in her vocal attitude. Emotional aspects and harmonic choices, but filtered through completely modern production lens. She's not retro. She's not purely contemporary. She's hybrid. And I think that's the key word of 2026, hybridization. She also collaborated in alternative rock space with Sam Fender. And that cross-pollination worked. The industry is rewarding the artists who blur genre lines rather than defend them. Songwriting today isn't about pop versus alternative versus R&B. Does it feel authentic and emotionally literate while sounding fresh? That's the standard for today. BRITs versus Grammys, two different energies. Now, if we compare BRIT Awards with Grammys, there's an interesting difference. The Grammys often feel institutional, industry validation at the highest corporate level. The BRITs, on the other hand, feel more culturally reactive, a bit more willing to reward genre-fluid artists. Earlier, the BRITs this year felt like they were saying, "We see where music is going." The Grammys often say, "We confirm what has already succeeded," but they send slightly different creative signals. And for emerging artists watching from home, that difference is important. Live performance is back, but not everywhere. One thing I genuinely loved this year: Harry Styles performed live with a huge band, Rosalía performed with theatrical staging, and live musicians. There was even a moment featuring Björk, reinforcing that art pop and experiment still have space on mainstream stages. This is a great trend, because let's be honest, modern pop concerts often prioritize choreography, lighting rigs, and cinematic visuals over musicianship. There are pop stars who basically dance to the backing track. For example, Tate McRae. She's an incredible dancer, but vocally much of her performance relies heavily on tracks. The focus is movement first, singing the second. And it's not just her. A lot of high production pop tours use heavy backing vocals, pitch support, pre-recorded instrumental layers, and playback choruses. Even artists who sing live, like some arena pop acts today, often sing over strong stems to maintain perfection. But seeing Harry and Rosalía invest in full band, that really matters. Because for the young musicians watching, it sends a message. You can still build a show around musicianship. But let's talk about ticket prices. Now, here's the uncomfortable part. Harry Styles' ticket prices are extremely high. And I understand that show of that scale costs millions. Dancers, lighting design, sound engineers, production managers, security team, transport, insurance, musicians. It's actually a moving city, but it always was like that. Art should not become only a luxury experience, only for elites. We're seeing fewer shows, concentrated in fewer cities, at higher prices. Touring is becoming centralized and expensive as heck. And while it's incredible to see these massive productions, I worry about accessibility. Music historically has been about shared experience, social event where you could meet different people. Now it risks becoming premium. Sometimes I wonder if the price I saw is a monthly rent for an apartment in a big city or a ticket price. The myth of the internet only breakthrough. There was a short period, roughly 2016 to 2021, when it felt like you could upload a song directly from your bedroom and suddenly have a global career. And yes, that still happens sometimes. But if we look closely at most of today's biggest artists, they have major labels and large creative teams behind them from the beginning. Producers, top-liners, song doctors, mix engineers, band strategists. Let's talk about producers. The heart of every success is the producer. There are two pop producers I deeply admire, Andrew Watt and Jack Antonoff. Andrew Watt moves between pop and rock effortlessly, working with major global artists and bringing a raw, almost analog rock sensibility into polished pop context. Jack Antonoff has shaped the sound of multiple generations of alternative and pop artists. His ability to create nostalgic yet emotionally modern soundscapes is unmatched. Here's something very important for young songwriters to understand. Often what you're responding to is the ecosystem around the artist. The collaborators, the producers, the co-writers. And don't get me wrong, that doesn't make it less authentic. It just means that modern music is highly collaborative. Social media musicians, the double-edged sword. At the BRITs, even some band members gained the attention, like musicians who build audiences online before stepping onto major stages. Think about instrumentalists who go viral on TikTok and then end up touring with global artists. Half a year ago, I discovered this sax player on TikTok. Now she's playing in Mark Ronson's band with Dua Lipa on vocals. How cool is that? But not only a viral could take your career to the next level. I've seen this firsthand. Last year I met an incredible musician, Sal Bryan. We played together when he was playing guitar for Absol, and I opened her shows in Europe. We had lunch, coffee, talked about life, and few months later he's touring the biggest halls worldwide with Somber. Good for you, Sal. Congratulations. That acceleration used to take years. Now it takes months. But here's the darker side. TikTok and Instagram are full of lip-synced performances, hyper-edited instrumental videos, pitch-corrected live takes, perfect lighting, perfect compression, perfect everything. For young musicians, it creates impossible standard. You start thinking, why doesn't my live vocals sound like that? Because it's not real. It's heavily processed. We are usually competing with edited illusions, and that has psychological consequences, especially for the young musicians nowadays. AI and the new tools. We are also entering an era of AI tools inside streaming platforms. Playlist generators, music discovery algorithms, even composition tools. Today morning I left home and I completely forgot to top up my phone. And I was really into the mood to explore some new music. And without my headphones on, I realized that for the last months, when I discover a new music, I mainly rely on the playlists and the things I get from my streaming platform discovery page. Don't worry, I also try to look for the new music on Rate Your Music, for example. But to the point, I think AI won't replace artists, but it will absolutely change how music is discovered, how reference tracks are created, and how quickly trends cycle. If you're a songwriter or producer, ignoring AI would be naive. Of course, you could also be foes, but don't ignore it. Know your enemy. But relying on it creatively, that's dangerous. We should be creative. AI is just another tool. And the value of human imperfection is rising in this situation. The second league and why it matters. While the Brits spotlight glitter and spectacle, there's another world thriving quietly. Artists like Men I Trust build global audiences with tasty production and minimal theatrics. Actually, no theatrics at all. Arlo Parks built her career on intimate songwriting and subtle arrangements. No explosions, no 40 dancers on stage, no laser grids, just songs. And it also works. There's a growing audience craving sincerity over spectacle. These second league artists may not dominate any award show, but culturally they shape taste long term. Now I want to say something honest. When you see a award show like BRITs, it's really easy to feel small as an artist. Some of those artists also started in rehearsal rooms, in tiny venues, sometimes also in self-doubt. The industry looks almost monolithic from the outside. From the inside, it's just people trying to make something that moves others. And if you're watching this as a songwriter, singer, composer, the goal isn't to become the next Olivia Dean or the next viral sensation. The goal is to become unmistakably yourself. Because trends shift, algorithms change, awards rotate, but identity, that's a long-term currency. And who knows, maybe the music you make would be a trend in 2 years from now. What's my final thought? The 2026 BRIT Awards showed us hybrid genres are winning. Live musicianship still matters. Spectacle dominates, but intimacy still survives. Social media accelerate everything. We live in an era of extremes. Massive arena productions and bedroom producers going viral overnight. And maybe the real future belongs to the artists who can find themselves beyond this division. Let me know what you think. Is mainstream music getting better? And if you're building your own project right now, tell us where you're at. I'm genuinely curious about who you are. See you in the next one.